I think we just have to go into the Tiger talk because
62. Have you guys heard that rumor where
I
he
heard
shot a
that. They say
62
that
in
every
his practice
freaking
round?
time.
Oh, wait, he shot 62 today?
He said he shot 62 in his practice
in
round.
his practice round
last week.
How many? I don't know if
All
it's
right,
just
guys,
me.
hold up.
I don't know if it's just me, but every time it was the same thing in the Masters. Tiger looks great.
Dude,
He's shooting a 64 in his practice round, and then it doesn't translate into the tournament, right?
Well,
so there's that. And not to say that Tiger played
we know the
poorly in
reason why it doesn't
Masters.
translate. I just feel like I just don't think his body can hold on.
Right.
for 4 days.
Yes, that's
So
what it always comes
unfortunately-
down to. But I'm just done with the clickbait 62 scores on all these things before the tournaments.
Can you have some fun?
No,
It's great. Can you have some fun? Live a little, dude.
I
Live
lived
a little.
I lived with it because it's always a story. What is up, everybody? We are back for another Tranquilo Sports Talk. We've got Hav back on the pod, of course. It's major week, and who better to bring back?
Let's go.
What's up, guys? How is everybody doing?
Good, man.
Where's my intro?
Yeah, everybody knows.
I'm excited to be here. Excited to be back. We got the
Well, glad to have you
playoffs
back.
in full swing. We got the hockey playoffs. We got
Yeah, we got Panthers
major
hockey.
championship week.
Yeah.
Always fired up for a big major.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. These last 4 weeks felt long to get here. I
Yeah.
felt like the first two were like.
You know,
I mean, it was players and then Masters.
I think it was because if you look at the tournaments we had, there weren't that many like big events. You had RBC
Wells
right
Fargo, I guess, was
after,
the biggest one.
and then this is like the first
Yeah.
big event. I guess we had the Zurich was fun because you had Rory
playing.
and
It's the
Lowry,
first-
but
that's the
it's not like
first
a
tournament.
big event.
Yeah.
And it's the first tournament this year that I missed was Zurich.
Zurich. I
Not
watched-
even on purpose. I just didn't get a chance.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of the last day. That was it.
Yeah.
But I've been watching pretty much every weekend.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I'm tuning in at some in some
At
capacity.
Exactly.
I'm
No,
tuning in.
I watched the Wells Fargo pretty closely until the end when Rory just ran away with it. But before we get into PGA talk, like, subscribe, comment, everything, follow, do everything you need to do, and then secondly, we're talking cats because we gotta give the
let's
cats
go.
more love. I know the last couple times we've talked, and the last time was before Boston. And now, hopefully, by the time this airs,
Yeah.
this is a Boston pack. And there's a pasta pack, a maroon pack. I want the whole pack. But, I mean, we're up 3-1 at this point. Next game's tomorrow, game 5. It's Cats in 5. And, yeah, this team is a wagon right now. Like, there's this team it looks not only very hard to beat, but it looks even better than, obviously, last year, which is when we made that cup run. And this team just seems like a team of destiny. Hoping they can pull it off, but I want to hear some of your Cats thoughts.
I mean, I'm all in.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You may not know. You know at this
Yeah.
point, but I am like a die-hard Cats fan.
Oh,
like
I did not know this.
hardcore.
Yeah,
I
didn't
grew
know
up.
this.
I grew up playing hockey, so
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
did. Hockey and golf were my two sports growing up. Very
I
random.
want to do a little research on like the correlation between hockey players and
A lot of them play. A lot
I
of
get
them
wanna
play.
see it,
They do
yeah.
play. There are some good, like all the retired.
Mhm.
There's a lot of retired hockey players that love.
I can see
They
that.
just play golf now. But so I grew up like a hardcore Panthers fan. Like to me, my childhood, like there's no difference. Like fandom wise, to me, there's no difference in my eyes from the Dolphins and Panthers.
Wow.
Like I grew up that hardcore. Like it was just I was so into hockey, and
Yeah.
we weren't very good. You know, I was.
No, yeah, historically.
I
the
got
Panthers
hooked on
have
them in the
struggled.
in the '97 Cup run.
Right.
Then we got swept by Colorado, and then I just been a fan ever since. So
Yeah.
like I am so locked in right now that we're on this Cup run. Like
They're fun to
finally,
watch, man.
we got our Panthers.
They're
like,
fun to watch.
They are the best team in hockey. We
Yeah.
are the favorites to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
It feels like you said, feels like a team of destiny.
It does. It does. Coming off the way things kind of went down last year, where they made the magical run, they knew they left something on the table and that they can do it. Like they proved to themselves that even when they're not in the best position to do it, they can go do it and they can hang with the big dogs. Like they know that, and I think last year proved that to them. Now they're playing great hockey. Like their confidence is just up the roof.
Yeah.
It's like when they went down 2-0 yesterday, no one felt phased in that game.
I
No.
didn't even feel
And
that.
if you look at the numbers, the shots on goal tell you a different narrative of what the score was too. Boston got some good breaks and they got some good shots, but
Yeah.
reality is our offense
We
was clicking and we were still getting
dominated.
our shots, and they were not getting many shots
Bro,
out.
after that first
So
period,
we knew that we were right in it. We just
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
to get that momentum in, and it happened.
We finished with like 40 shots yesterday. It was
Yeah.
a total domination.
And
We
that's
completely
been,
dominated.
dominated.
That's
Yeah.
been the case every game in the series.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has
It's
just
just
been.
it's a deep. This is a very deep Panthers hockey team.
Yeah.
They come at you with 4 lines. It's wave after wave after wave. And you saw, like you were saying, they went on that run last year.
Right.
And to me, last year we had to go. Remember, the run started like 20 games left in the season.
Yeah.
We had to go on a crazy run just to get in.
Just to get in.
Just to
Yeah.
get in because
Yeah.
we had started so slow.
Mhm.
We got in, and then we went on this crazy run. So by the time we got to the cup, like
Yeah.
these guys were out of gas.
These guys-
They were hurt.
I know,
Everybody was
7-game series with Boston just to get through.
just to
first
get
round.
through. Then you had to play Toronto. It was a brutal playoff run. Then you had Carolina in
Yeah.
4,
I know.
but it was
And
really
it
it
was
was
a
5 because
grind.
we had a 6
Yeah.
we had a
That's-
6-period
well,
game. It was
yeah.
Bro, I was in Fort Lauderdale
Crazy.
watching that game.
Yeah.
I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. that day.
Yeah, it was wild. I was actually in the Bahamas for that game. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
that's it.
Yeah.
So you had like they were just out of gas. They were
Yeah.
hurt. They were
Beat
beat up.
Yeah.
So then you saw this year they got a little bit tougher, a little bit bigger on
Yep.
the back end on the
Which
defensive
it
side.
shows
And it's showing.
That's
This
exactly
is a
what the point that I wanted
bigger,
to make, man.
meaner
Meaner.
version of last year's
You
team.
can see the difference because last year we were explosive and fast and we could score like there was no tomorrow. But when it came to physicality, that's where we struggled, and it ended up being the kryptonite at the end of the series because Vegas powered.
They were
us.
just they were just the tougher team.
And that was the reality, the fact plus all the injuries and all that. But this year, the defense is insane. There has been multiple stretches throughout these
Yeah.
games where the Bruins don't even get past the midway point of the
Yeah.
ice,
Defense
are
has been
sh-
awesome.
and they're not getting shots off. I was talking to somebody today. To me, that's like the most impressive thing about it.
Yeah.
When you see the shot discrepancy on goal, where it's like at points in the game, I've seen 22 to like 6.
Yeah,
And I'm like, bro, it's like 2 different games right now for these teams.
Even when they were up 2-0, it was still 15-5.
Yeah.
Like it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
The game that we won
it's
6-1
been-
was outlandish
Yeah.
stretch.
We've dominated them. We've
Yeah.
dominated
Yeah.
them, and every facet. Even if you go back to game 2, where Chucky had the big
Mhm.
fight against Pasta,
that's fire.
That was
where
the best.
if you really look at it, that fight, it's almost you saw Chuck. That was like a 5-minute process for him to get into that fight. He talked his way into
Yeah.
the fight.
And
He
they went
baited
after
him
Bennett
into
in
it.
this last
Yeah.
game too.
They baited him into it,
Yeah.
and then he went out there and he's like, it's almost like he's like, we're beating them, and now I'm gonna go out there and I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
dummy their best
Yeah.
player
yeah.
In true
in
Chucky
front
fashion.
of everybody.
Yeah.
And then he went
insane.
out there. He does that. Everyone's freaking out. And if you look at it, the entire narrative now in
Mhm.
Boston, the whole media, they don't talk about anything else except for how this Boston team should be getting revenge
Right.
and the hit on Marchand,
Yeah.
the pasta
We're-
stuff.
we're worried about
why
winning
isn't
games,
why
though,
isn't
though.
why isn't Pat Maroon fighting people?
Yeah.
No one's talking about
Yeah.
how they're just getting smoked.
Yeah.
They're talking about
Yeah.
all the wrong things. Like it's like he just played chess with them on that. Like just mental midgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're dominating them in every facet. Cats and 5. I'm with David.
It's insane of like, and I'm the first. When we made the trade for Chucky, I was heartbroken.
Massive bug that just whacked you in the head.
What was that?
That was a beetle. That's
Oh,
that guy
was-
right there.
Oh.
Welcome to Florida. Welcome to
Yeah.
recording outdoors in Florida.
Yeah, right.
I was a huge Huberto guy. That was my guy. When I first got into the Cats, that was my guy last year.
Yeah.
My favorite player. He's the one I followed throughout. So I was devastated when we traded
I
him.
know.
There's not been a better move by our franchise
No, I
than to
know.
bring Chucky.
I know, I
to
know.
this team.
Been
What
the
he-
best move in this
What
franchise
he
history.
has brought this team is outside of obviously the fact that he's already a very good player.
Right.
It's his toughness,
The
his
energy.
greenness, and the
Mhm.
fact that everybody hates him and he doesn't care. Like
Yeah.
he is going to muck it up, scum with anybody, and he's insane. Like he is truly one of the most fun players to watch, and he's like
100%.
changed the whole team's dynamic. We're also bringing guys like Bennett, who's obviously
100%.
catching a lot of heat right now, which I love.
Yes, bro. He's getting so
we got a
much
lot
heat.
of guys like that, and then led by Jesus Christ.
No, I know.
And then led by our captain Barkov, who has had an incredible series.
He's been
That
unbelievable.
goal, his winning goal
that goal by Barkov was
it's
wild.
not talking about enough. Because
Yeah.
everyone keeps talking about
God.
all the fights and the Bennett
And
goal.
the Bennett goal.
Dude, the
and-
Barkov goal
was insane.
was insane.
1 through 3
Gross.
dudes. 1 through 3
Gross.
dudes to score that
Yeah,
goal.
So
Watching that live, I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
how did he even get through?
Yeah,
And then when he got through, I'm like, he's going to score.
Yeah,
And he scored. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
holy shit.
I feel like people don't realize how big,
oh, Barky is
like, and strong
Yeah.
Barkov is.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge guy.
He's a big dude, and it's funny because like you see all these guys like Boston like trying to bait us to fighting, and like
Mhm.
Barkov just laughed in his face like, where's like I'm not gonna fight you right now.
Same
I'm
with
gonna
Bennett.
put you on the-
Same with Bennett. They
and-
were trying to chip
yeah.
at Bennett
Yeah,
all
yeah.
game.
But,
Yeah,
but
I
like
don't
Barkov
understand
is like
that.
it's funny because like he's not a big fighter. He's a massive human being.
Yeah.
Not a fighter. And
Probably
he's gonna
knows,
dominate
he's
you
like,
on every.
you don't wanna
Like he
fight
does all
me,
the
I'll
little
hurt
things
you.
perfect, and he's just like he's so freaking good. Like
Yeah.
Barky is.
I don't
He's
get the
having-
Bennett thing. Everyone's going out trying to fight him. Like, he's not going to fight him. He's
Yeah,
just coming
yeah.
off a hand injury.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
go
yeah.
pick a fight with someone else.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he have a hit the game before though? That
He-
was like,
he
Oh,
did.
That was the
considered
one.
a cheap,
Yeah,
cheap shot.
The Bennett
Yeah.
took out Marchand.
Yeah.
They came in the new
Um,
angle. It kind of was. He got away with
when
it.
I
It's
did
awesome,
see
but
that
I
other
love it.
angle, I was like,
awesome.
He did. It was.
I love it.
It's
I love
great,
it.
but
I
that's
want more
hockey
of those.
for you.
I
Like,
want
you
more.
got,
Yeah, those things are gonna
guys get
happen in
away.
the
He
playoffs.
snuck one in there.
Yeah,
and
those things are gonna happen in the playoffs. What do you guys think about the goalie interference that was not called on the second goal?
I think it was a good goal. I think just the only reason why you don't. I think the only way for them to reverse that would have been if they would have had to have called taken the goal away and called a penalty on Bennett, and the cross. It was
okay.
more of a push, not a cross check.
Right. Well, they were saying that he kind of pushed.
Yeah,
their
they-
own
they
guy
pushed their own
into-
guy.
Yeah.
Into but
Yeah.
for like apparently for the rules like for them to call it back, I think you
Mhm.
have to call a penalty
They
on
would
it.
have had to have called.
They would have
penalty.
called a penalty. Like you would have to go back and call a penalty on
Interesting.
Bennett, and
Yeah.
they're like, that's not a penalty, so we
Yeah.
can't.
Understood.
My
Okay.
whole thing is that I agree that it was a good goal. However, if that happened to my team, I would be furious.
Right. That's how I always like to look at things.
I would.
Oh, I
be
would too.
livid.
You're
right
I
also.
would. I would be livid if
that's how I
that
always
was
like
my.
to look at it.
If that happened,
Because if I'm that
I would
fan
be
on that
pissed.
receiving
But-
side,
yeah.
how would I handle it? I'm like, I can see how maybe I would be
yeah.
upset about that.
But like kind of like.
But if the
obviously
rules are the
fact
rules,
that I'm
and that's a
biased,
fact, you know, then that's
It's
that's
it
the
kind of it
reality
can go
of it.
both ways, but like I lean more with you because the fact of the matter was like it wasn't a foul on Bennett. Like
Right.
the goal interference, maybe I think he would have scored anyway, but it's the fact that it wasn't a cross check is what saved us. Because like if obviously it was
Exactly.
cross
If
check,
you look, he
that's-
pushes
yeah,
him
then
more.
it's-
Like
it's
he
gonna be
pushes
a-
him more with
yeah,
his
yeah.
hand, like
Yeah.
the hand,
Yeah,
the butt
yeah,
end
yeah.
of the stick.
Right.
yeah,
And he did. He gave him, but it was more. It was a shove
yeah,
into the goalie. It wasn't really it wasn't a cross check. So it was hard. I mean, but I'm with you. If I was a Boston fan,
Yeah.
I'd be tough. It's a tough thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's been one of like the controversial calls
Yeah.
all throughout the whole season.
Mhm.
Used to goal interference. It's been
Yeah.
apparently like a
It's
very
tough to
inconsistent
call
call,
that, man.
yeah.
like call. So
Especially think
I'm
about
sure
it,
the league will
seeing
look
that
at
in
the
real
rules
time,
there,
It's almost
but
like impossible to call that one in real time. So then you look at it,
Yeah.
and there's like so many different
yeah.
factors.
And you already you kind of stick with what you already
Exactly,
went
and
with.
if it's like a
Boston had a
50-50,
couple
you gotta,
goals
you gotta
earlier
stick with
in the series. I think they were taken away by
did, they had
interference
two.
calls.
Yeah,
That
so
too.
like
That
Boston fans, I think have a real gripe over this.
Mhm.
Sucks to suck, but
That
too
too in
bad.
game
Too
two.
bad. I'm
You know what I
a
will
Cavs
say?
fan. I'm on the winning side.
But
Yeah.
those to me were the right calls. Like not
Yeah.
even being biased. Like you
Agreed,
know the
they
rules
were.
that there was interference there, and they're gonna call that every time.
You know what I will say? I learned how. Like, I mean, I already hate Boston. I hate Boston fans. The Boston Bruins fans are the biggest whining
Yeah, they're very
crybabies I've ever
whiny.
seen. This whole
Well,
crusade
they're
that
the same
on.
as the Celtics fans. It's the
Yeah,
same fan
yeah,
base, dude.
yeah.
The
I know,
Celtics
I know.
fans
But,
cry
like,
too.
I know, but like the last couple of days of like the whole Bennett thing and the T'Chuk. Get over yourself. We just pummeled you to the
You're
ground.
getting
Your
smoked.
super team pummeled you last year. We're gonna beat the shit out of this team this year. Boston Pack. See you later,
Well,
bozo.
just off this point, I hate to be the devil's
Wait, dude,
advocate.
cigar.
We were down 3-1 last year.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Different team.
I know. Hopefully we can.
Different
close it out
team.
here.
Different
Well,
side.
I think we will. I think this series, to be honest, like not obviously bias, but I think the series is over. I think we've just like they're done. We have just severely outplayed
We
them.
have,
We've
I agree.
seen it.
I agree.
Like even here, they were up 2-0, and they still couldn't pull through. They
Yeah.
got dominated
Yeah.
for the next
And
two
they lost
periods,
it
and they
two-
lost 3-2.
two games at home.
They lost both games at home. I just, I don't see it.
The fans are going to
agree.
be
I
loud
think-
tomorrow too.
Last thing
I think we bring it.
before we go to PGA.
I also have one more.
Oh,
one more
okay.
thing.
I'll just say, who would you rather face, Carolina or New York?
I had originally going into the playoffs, I had a huge lean saying that like I was not scared of Carolina, but that was the team I was
I
like,
agree,
that's the
yeah.
team that I'm worried the most about, just because of how it was 4-0 last year, but how
Yeah.
hard that series was. 1-0 games,
Yeah.
2-1,
we
like
got, a
all
lot
those
of our guys
games.
got injured in that series.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a brutal series that could have gone either way. We were on
Yeah.
the right side of it,
Yeah.
during the run.
Yeah.
But then they made those moves in the All-Star, like during the All-Star break, and I was like, man,
Even harder, yeah.
even tough. They got the offense they were missing. So I was thinking that, and then I've seen
They were favorites going into the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah.
and then this Rangers team has come out in the playoffs, and they're just
They look
like
good, bro.
they look good and they're tough.
They look good, but
I
Carolina's
personally-
fighting back.
I personally cocky answer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna. I think we handle both teams, and I honestly do feel like we handle either
But
side.
do you think there's like a matchup on paper?
I
you
prefer
know,
I prefer to play the Rangers over Carolina.
just over matchup purposes.
Just matchup purposes, I'll stick with that. That's
Yeah.
what I said before.
Yeah.
Even though Carolina
Even
right now it looks like they have
Carolina
more problems,
hates us.
Even
Yeah, we
though-
hate them too, but
they won again today, so they extended the series.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
officially
game
went
6.
to the
Yeah,
other
one.
one
yeah,
now,
yeah,
so it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
game 6 now.
It's going to game 6.
And that's
so
on Thursday?
Wednesday.
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 It's Wednesday, yeah.
yeah, so it'll be Wednesday. So
Yeah.
you're gonna.
I wouldn't be shocked if that went to 7. I would not be shocked.
My original take was 7
This
games.
is going back to
Back
New,
to-
It'll go back to
Carolina.
New York.
right?
No, back to
No, Carolina.
No, New York was the 1 seed.
Yeah, New York was the one.
It's
seed.
going now to Carolina.
I know. I was saying game 7 would be in New York.
In New York, yeah.
Game
I'm
7
saying
would be in
6
New York. Yeah,
is in
yeah.
Carolina.
No, this will be
Yeah,
tonight
yeah.
was in New York.
Got you. Okay.
So
So they're gonna
Okay.
They're gonna be a tough out.
Yeah, 4-1.
They're not gonna go down without a fight. You saw it. I think that's gonna be a great series. I said it was going 7 from the
Better
beginning.
for us
Yeah.
or worse for us?
Let it go 7.
If we
Let it
go
go 7, but
5 and they go 7,
let it.
are you a believer
I'll
that
well,
it's better
you
for
saw
the break?
You saw it in our first game. This series, like we
So-
looked
Little
rusty as
it
hell.
does. I think
we looked rusty as hell, and Boston came firing right from game 7.
I think it does make a
That's what I'm
difference,
saying. I agree.
but this team, like I'm less concerned about it now after seeing how we
Bounce back.
handled
Made
the Boston
adjustments,
series,
yeah.
and I would like to think that now if that were to happen again, going into the next series, say we win, now we close out tomorrow,
Yeah.
Right.
and then we get a nice little break because the Carolina New York goes 7. I'm less concerned because I think this team's gonna be more aware of it. They're like, we're not letting that happen again.
Yeah.
They'll come into game 1
Take
ready.
a different approach.
Take a
of,
different
like,
approach.
What they did that week off.
Yeah, make
or
sure.
whatever,
Yeah,
those
exactly.
days off,
Make sure, or
so that they're
just
not
make
as
sure they're
flat.
ready to play.
Right.
Come game time, they'll
Yeah,
just be more
it's-
focused.
I think it's
and-
more like the speed, I think, you're out, you're just not naturally in that same like adrenaline drive, going in from game
yeah,
to game.
you can't replicate
It's almost
the
impossible to
intensity,
replicate. Exactly. Yeah. The
like,
process,
especially in the
that goes into it.
NHL. You can't replicate that kind
Yeah,
of
I
intensity.
agree.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, I think we did a great job of just flipping that switch back
Yeah.
on game 2 and
I'm less
carrying that
concerned.
right back into that.
I'll take New York.
The body
if you
needs
make
to
me
break,
pick,
too.
but
If
I
you
don't
think-
care.
If you think long term too, right? If you want to make that Stanley Cup final run, you still got to go through a whole other series, right?
Right.
Which your body just needs the extra break.
Hey,
Like,
I'll take the
that's-
rest.
That's the
Like,
reality of the
keep
fact.
our guys healthy, and that's the thing. I have a lot of faith in this
Health, yeah,
team. Like
health.
Yeah.
this team stays healthy. I think it's all systems go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My
It's
last
crazy.
question that I wanted to ask, and we don't have to go crazy on it. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Boston is a very good defender of the power play, right? Do you think we're exceeding expectations or below expectations as far as executing on offense on the power plays? Because we've got a lot of power plays.
I think it's a mix. Yeah, I think the fact that we've gotten so many power plays
Mhm.
has also played in favor and against us in terms of statistically because going into the series they only allowed 1 against Toronto, and then
And I don't think we had
it took us-
scored once
yeah,
on them
it-
all year on the
it
power
took-
play.
They're very good on the power play, but we have been able to score I think about 3 times
Lately,
now, but,
yeah.
But it's
Last
still
year,
3 times, but we've also gotten it like 12 times. Like, in the last few
We
games,
were, I
like-
think, going into like after game 1 through the whole season, we were like 16 in a
6,
row
yeah.
without a power
goal?
play goal
Yeah.
against Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like 16 power
Yeah, I
plays in
know
a
we
row.
hadn't scored on them. Yeah.
And we hadn't scored, so they were doing a really good job against a power play that has been like our bread and butter all
Got
year.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think it was game 1 of the game 2 or game
Game
3.
two,
I forgot which one it was. We had 4 power play goals in the game.
It was-
So like
it
all of a
was-
sudden the power play
yeah.
started working. And then
No,
since
you know what
then,
it was?
since
It was game 3 because we had the 2 back-to-back because we had the 4-minute one and we scored in both.
yeah,
2
that was
minutes.
Oh, yeah,
we had
right.
we had 4 power play goals in that
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah, I think too. If you look at some of the looks that we've had in the power play, it's like we're executing
Yeah.
it well. We may
Yeah.
not be finishing,
Yeah.
which is I think a better problem to have. What I used to hate to see was I think not last year, but I think the run before when we were the President Cup one.
It was the one before against Tampa. We could not score.
And not only could we not score, we were like in shambles in every
Yeah,
power
yeah,
play.
yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
we couldn't even hold the puck. I'm like,
it was a disaster.
So that doesn't seem to be the case. Like we're
No.
controlling the puck, the puck's moving around well, and we're getting good looks.
This is a
Yeah.
great power. I think it's one of the
Mhm.
best power plays in the league. I think it's been great. I think it's
the reality, that's where you gotta
Yeah.
cash in. That's just the reality.
Especially
of the
when
fact
we're gonna
of
have
the
a
playoffs.
ton of them again in Game 5 because they're gonna keep coming at us.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're gonna
be
lose
physical.
control again, and we'll have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Take advantage and get them out of the game early.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll be over.
yeah.
But
Yeah, cool. I just wanted to get
oh,
you
one,
guys.
yeah. One last thing, actually. Again, we've done the last thing now 3 times in a row. One of the things that have been amazing over the first 2 rounds is how well our fourth line is played. And you kind of touched on it a bit, how deep this team
Yeah,
is.
man.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
that fourth line is
Hey, what's his name?
going off.
Ethan or Evan Rodriguez?
Evan Rodriguez.
Bro, he had his first career playoff goal the other
Yeah.
day, and I think he's got 2 or 3 now.
Yeah,
Hey,
that whole
he's-
line is playing
They're playing
so well.
great.
That like when we spoke about it yesterday, I was like, dude, is Lomberg like injured? And you're like, no, like
Mm-hmm.
the
He's
fourth line's
legit.
playing so well that he's just been a healthy scratch.
He was a healthy
He was the
scratch.
fifth line, like they had him in the 5th line, like in the warm ups, but it's just like that line is doing so
If
well.
it's working, why are
It's
you
just
gonna
like,
try to?
and that's
break that?
scary for other teams, like
Yeah.
how like it's like oh the fourth line's in, like maybe you kind of get like no like shit we got
No,
to
that's
deal
right.
with
It was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know,
the last
like-
series against Tampa.
Yeah.
That fourth line, I forgot what game it was. One of the last 2 games of the series.
Yeah.
They had 2 goals in the game. They were
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, huge.
That's so like. I mean, they always say that what is it? The top 6 guys, which are the first 2 lines.
Yeah.
Those guys
Yeah.
get you the playoffs. The bottom 6 guys are the ones that win you a Stanley Cup.
It's the
And,
same
like,
thing in
that's what you're
basketball. When you
seeing.
think about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that random role player that's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
step
the
up and
bench
hit
guy.
those,
It's
those
got,
big threes in the fourth quarter. That
it's a team. Look,
that
at
make
the end
the
of the day,
difference in the game.
it's a team sport.
100%.
Hockey's very much a team sport. You have 4 lines.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're kind of seeing it with Edmonton. All of a sudden, they're struggling
Yeah.
because they're so top
Yeah,
heavy,
heavy.
and the rest of their guys are disappearing now
Yeah.
in the middle of the playoff run, and you're starting to see it against Vancouver.
Sure.
They're starting to get pushed around
we
and.
would crush
True.
Edmonton, I think.
Yeah,
I think
we're
we-
built.
yeah.
I think the teams we're built from the other side. We're built to beat are Edmonton, Colorado,
Yeah.
and I think we match up well with Vancouver. They can play a little bit of us
Yeah.
of our style, but because they have those big defenders that
Yeah,
play
yeah.
very well against like top lines. But it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I think
I
we're
will
too much
say
for
this too. It was an impressive stand in the last 40 seconds when they got on that power play
Oh,
with
Oh,
empty net.
yeah.
You're basically up
Yeah.
2 men
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
And
Bob,
we
man.
held our ground.
Bob,
Bob made a
Bob
great
stand.
save, and they almost snuck one in there at the end. But
Yeah.
the defense, bro, for
Yeah.
that stand, I was like, oh, fuck.
Bob's out of control.
Bob's out of control. It's funny because Bob, when he signed a huge contract, like everyone's like was kind of like riding on Bob because like, dude, why like this guy's not making this contract worth it, whatever.
Oh my god.
His run to
Every
Henry last
penny.
year is
He is
his
worth
alone.
every.
That
Bro, the
run was
fans
every
are
penny, and
gravitating
then
to
this
him so
year,
hard.
what he's done, continued that
Mhm.
that playoff run into the year to be a finalist for the what is this? That's Sokonoff. What are the goalie?
Yeah,
of
the
year?
goalie
And then now in the playoffs, he's
trophy.
still standing on his head. Like he is playing unreal out of his
Yeah.
life, and if you want to make the cup run, you're only as far as your goalie
Yeah,
takes you.
100%.
Really, outside of your
We
team.
got. I'm
but-
telling you, this team is built for it. We got
Yeah.
the depth. We got the goaltending. It's all systems go.
all systems go.
Put your future
I
bets
love
in. Get
Whoa,
your
that's a
cup.
dragon back there.
Get your.
Oh my
my
god!
God,
What
what
the
is
fuck is that?
that?
Thing is huge.
What is that,
That's a dragon. There's a dragon on set.
dude? What the hell?
Oh, I heard it.
What the hell is
I
that?
have never seen that in my
I've
life.
seen one of those.
I heard it
before.
fly like
Bro, that thing was a
fly over
dragon.
us.
Holy
Ooh,
shit!
that thing was like this.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
that
saw it. I saw it. I was scared.
I'm like still scared that he's
I
even in
I
his
see- I
vicinity.
see it over there. You see
Yeah,
him?
I
Look at
see
him.
it.
Look at the size of that.
That thing is huge.
I think he's
Bro,
eating-
that thing
I think he's
lands
eating
on
a
me,
He's
bird.
gonna, he's gonna take your dog.
Yeah, I think he's eating a bird over there or something.
Hopefully he stays over there.
Holy
It's-
shit! All
Oh,
right.
it's these lights. They fucking
Yeah.
they love it.
Jesus Christ.
And then,
hiding out
and
there,
then they
and
come
they're
over
like,
here, they see
"Whoa,
what that
what
is,
is
and they're like,
this?"
fuck this,
Yeah.
that's way too bright.
Yeah.
But
Let's
yeah.
smell the cigar
All right.
smoke.
Yeah.
Let's talk some
Yeah.
PGA.
Yeah, let's go.
Talk some
PGA.
golf?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So Dave's favorite golfer won this weekend, and he's super excited.
I love it. I love that Rory won Wells Fargo because the last.
Who dislikes Rory more, me or you?
I don't know. Honestly, it might be you, and I hate Rory. I think
Yeah,
I- you hate
I don't
Rory.
think-
I don't know
I
how strong.
you know
his
what's
is.
funny is that Rory. I really hated Rory like 2 years ago, and even last year. Like Rory this year, he's just been kind of like, I don't know. He's still pissing me off, but he hasn't been as out there. Like
So-
when he
Well,
was on
I
the
think
live
that's
thing, when
kind
that
of forced him to stop being out there. in the play. I mean, look at all these things coming out now. Like he's not going to be on the players board anymore. His BFF that was on it just resigned today.
Well, there's a lot of controversy going on there because apparently what's going on there, I started reading like about this. I'm just a junkie for this
yeah,
stuff. So.
me too.
And there was like after the framework agreement was done, it was done, and then basically no progress has been made because at that point the players like responded to it, and their response was they basically took control of the board. They took majority on the board, right? So since then they haven't been able to get anything done. Within that, you've seen Rory. We all know how famously recently, kind of not a full 180, but he's changed his stance on the whole thing, and not even more fun, but kind of changed his tune on the whole live versus PGA thing.
100%.
And he's more like, look, we just need to get golf back together.
Yeah.
World Tour, the whole thing,
Yeah.
just kind of a different stance.
Yeah.
On it. I think that he's kind of on the outs with that group of players on the board right now.
Is it because of the?
I
flip,
think like
the switch flip. You think that's
not
why?
so much of outs like like public, like, oh, we don't like each other,
No,
but
of
just
course.
like they're on different sides
Yeah,
now. Like they're on how they see the future of golf.
Yeah.
I think that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So and I think so he's kind of gone away from that role.
Mhm.
And I think it's done him well. He's done well. So and I'll
I
say
was about to say it's translating into better golf.
Yeah.
It looks like.
like my thing against Rory, it's like it's innocent. It's purely Ryder Cup related. Like Ryder Cup related. Like I'm just a huge Ryder Cup guy. Like I don't like rooting for Euros.
I got
The
you.
only Euro like I'll root for every once in a while is Rom.
Yeah.
Like I have like
I
some
wish-
affection
I
towards him.
I wish we had Campbell here today too.
Like
Why is he a big Rory guy?
No, remember he
Oh
was,
my
he was
God,
defending
that-
Europe in the Ryder
that-
Cup.
Oh yeah.
that
No,
turned
yeah, I know. But I was like, I didn't know if he was like a big
don't get
Rory
me
dude.
started on that. Don't get me started on that. No,
Yeah.
but so it goes from there, and then I didn't really like how he was handling everything, like
Yeah.
during the whole live thing,
Right.
just kind of,
Yeah, I agree.
But I'll say that recently, like the kind of the stance he's taken now, not that I like him, but I have a little more like respect for him.
Yeah. I think he's winning people back.
Exactly.
I think the reality is, and you could almost like see it in his face, that shit was getting to him.
For
Like
sure.
the whole live
course.
stuff and all that, and
He
his
didn't win a single
involvement
time
I mean,
last
with
year.
Jay. And by the way, the guy that's been silent all this is Jay, the commissioner.
Worst commissioner of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
if we're gonna really look at this from like the whole picture, he was the biggest problem in all of
Yeah.
this because talk about a guy that flipped the switch and is in a position that can't do that.
Put it this way: imagine this. Imagine the NFL or the NBA all of a sudden is dealing with something like this, where there's another competing league or whatever,
Right.
and the commissioners, you have like Roger Goodell is nowhere to be found. It's
Exactly.
Patrick Mahomes is
That's
the
what I'm
guy
saying. That's what it is.
standing
right
in front
now.
of the media, answering all the
Exactly.
questions
That's
for
the
the
perfect
league.
way to
Like,
put it.
what are
Yeah.
we doing here?
I know.
That's the perfect
Like
way
the
to
face
put
of the league's the one answering all these questions.
Yeah.
Where the heck? Like
it. Yeah.
that dude reached a framework agreement, had like a mental breakdown, and disappeared off the face here.
Bro,
Like
it
was
did it behind
hospitalized
everybody's
and
back.
and disappeared.
Did it behind everyone's back.
And like
too.
I get it, he was given the most raw deal ever.
Yeah.
Like he was put in an impossible position. Did he handle it? Did
No,
he
of
make
course.
every wrong decision?
Yeah.
Of course.
I think so.
Yeah.
But if
That's
you're gonna
me,
do,
but-
let's say you're in that situation, right? And you're getting an offer you almost can't refuse, which the Saudis knew that, right? He knew what was on the line in terms of the relationship between Live Golf and the PGA Tour, right? Like he knew that going into this. It wasn't like this happened from one day to the next and Liv presented it from the beginning and there was nothing developed in terms of the relationships between
Yeah.
the two tours. There was already so much controversy going into this that in what world did you just not think to consult with the players before even just signing an agreement.
I think
Even though it wasn't really a done deal at the end of the day, it seemed like it was a done deal at that time, but it really was nothing really transpired for the most part. Because here we are today and nothing's changed.
I think it goes back even further. I think Jay's biggest mistake, and like the last thing, because let's just get on to the PGA.
Yeah.
But last thing, because I don't know.
I mean,
why
this is pretty relevant right
it
now.
is very, it is very relevant. But like, I wanted to get into the good
I
stuff.
wanted to get some kicks.
But Jay, I think his biggest mistake was at the beginning. Like when you look at this, I mean, I don't agree with it. I think it's despicable, the whole sports washing stuff that the Saudis do, that whole thing. But they were going like that, like they earmarked $5 billion and this up from the fund and said this money is for golf.
Right.
They were coming into the game of golf one way or another. When you have that kind of money, you're going to bully your way in. They originally approached the tour, and sure, at the beginning, maybe you didn't take their calls, you took a certain stance, but after a while, like they were going to come in one way or another. You should have picked up the phone at some point and at least had conversations with them
and try to figure something out.
And like never have let it get to where it got to.
They just would have got it.
And I think that's where this.
They just couldn't take the Saudi money. They couldn't. There was no
you
scenario.
couldn't. I'm not saying you could.
Now they, I guess they could.
But you let it get to a point
Yeah.
where you fostered the great divide that we've had.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
but let's
didn't
say they
help
do
it.
take the money, like let's say FedEx or Rolex, are they going to pull out?
Well, the truth is, I don't really think. If you look at it now, they have a framework agreement. Like, you could have done this way back, avoided all a lot of the divide,
Right.
and maybe Liv never even came around, and you just have this framework agreement that's really never. I don't even know if it'll go through because even the U.S. government is involved.
Yeah, I know. It's
You have a sovereign, political arm of a sovereign nation injecting themselves into a sport.
It became political.
It's a huge deal. Like this is very murky. So this is just it's a mess.
Yeah.
Hopefully they
It's
work it
above our
out.
pay grade to try to figure it
Yeah,
out.
and we get more than 4 times a year.
Yeah. See
The
all
best
these guys
players in
play.
the world, because that's let's be honest, that's all we really want.
Yeah.
Like I just want all the players playing together
100%.
more often than 4
I
times
think
a year.
I think the World Tour thing is pretty cool.
I think it would be great. It's maybe less golf for us on TV because we got to deal with Australian tournaments, time zones. And,
I will say this. I agree with the fact that we obviously want to see the best players in golf playing against each other more often, but I don't think it has to come at the risk of eliminating the other tournaments in the process and making it harder for other guys to play on tour.
I agree, 100%.
Supposedly the Cantlay is the biggest one on the other side of the Rory conversation.
Because there's a lot of people saying like, we want the best players, but it's going to come at the expense of almost everybody else.
I agree.
Well,
I don't think that's
the
the
World
right
Tour would
approach.
only be the top 75 or top 100, which is cool. But
That's
then
fine.
it would be.
But you have to supplement all the other tournaments around.
I get it. So I don't know. That's for people with a higher pay than me.
Yeah.
All I know is that I'm a huge golf fan, and to be honest with you, and this is the whole thing. Like, the truth is, guys, like, golf really isn't cool enough for any of this. Like, these guys just golf was in such a good place. Like, fans just want to watch all the golfers, best players in the world. None of us really care. Like, it's almost you're starting to turn people away from this just because you're like, dude, these golfers, like, what are you guys talking about? Millions of dollars, who cares? Like, shut up and let's play. Like, I want to see you all play together.
Yeah.
Like, go win some championships.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we all want to see.
I would love
and
to
we
see
want
the
to see it
team
more.
golf. The team golf is cool. I mean, Liz doing it.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I mean, team golf is the only time you don't play team golf when you play competitive golf in your life, from growing up, is really when you get to the professional level.
Right. Yeah, true.
In middle school, in high school, in college,
Mhm.
there's a team aspect all through it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an individual aspect as well, but there's team in all of it. The only time you
that's
really
true.
don't is
At
when
the PGA.
at the professional level.
Yeah.
So, but
But yeah. I mean, that could be a whole conversation.
Yeah.
But so who do we like this week, and what is kind of the expectation of this week?
All right, so I'll start with what I was going to say initially before we went down this rabbit hole.
yeah, we were huge tangent there.
Rory, since Valhalla last time, which he won, which is the whole story, right? His last major was here. Since then, I think he's like 0-8 in majors.
Right.
First of all, he hasn't won since, but the week after he wins, it's happened like 8 times. He's never won after since whatever, 10 plus years ago.
Right.
Except for the last time he won this tournament
In Valhalla, yes.
in Valhalla,
Yeah.
and he won the week before.
It
Did
seems
he
very
also was that at
sketchy.
Quill Hollow?
It might have been.
Was it Quill Hollow
But he's won it-
Valhalla again?
He's won it 4
Wow.
times.
Maybe.
So.
He's won at Quill Hollow 4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. It's like,
So-
And I know
turn
last
that up
time
to
the
that year.
PGA was at Valhalla. There was the one that Rory won where they finished in the dark and all that.
Yeah.
And
It
I know he won the
seems-
week before.
yeah.
I just, I
mean,
don't have it in front of me, but
Yeah, look it up.
Let me see.
You
I would
guys-
love to know if it's also at Quill Hollow.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting enough that
Makes for a cool storyline.
That
I'm not taking him. I'm not taking him either. Don't get me wrong.
All
I
right,
love it.
Rory's going to win. And I'm not going to do what I've continued to do. I've said, I went to players. I said, guarantee you Scotty won't win. Did it at the Masters. So it seems like every time I say that, the person happens to be Scotty wins. So I'm going to do a guarantee this week.
Ooh.
I guarantee you Victor Hovland does not win. And, God forbid! God forbid!
God forbid he does win.
God forbid. No, but seriously, guys I like this week, obviously I love Hov. Hov will always be on my ticket. The course is a perfect fit for him as well. Anyway, he played a little inconsistent Quill Hollow, had a better weekend, though, than the start. The course fits his strengths. The biggest, I guess, course comp, because it's another Jack Nicklaus course, is the Memorial, which is where he won last year. So it's actually a really good fit for him. Now it's whether or not he's, if he can get back to where he was, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable with my pick. But I think it fits him well. Other guys that I like, Brooks, which I'm sure you might get to, so I'll leave Brooks available. I love Brooks. I will always take Brooks. PGA
Like how you
Championship.
leave it for me to talk about.
Because I had a feeling you might want to talk about him. But I like Brooks. Other guys I like this week. I like Bryson again. I know I liked him at the Masters. And it was looking good for a while. I like Bryson, and I like who? There's a guy. I'm missing somebody. Oh, dark horse. He's not really even a dark horse anymore because he's played really well lately. Bian. Bian is cooking right now. I don't think he can win it, but he's somebody I could take top 10, top 20, 100%.
Yeah, like just have a good tournament.
But to win it, Hov, I like Bryson, I like Brooks, and I don't know if Homa's there yet to win it. I do love the way he's playing.
yeah,
I think the Masters was a really big step for
I
him
agree.
to possibly take that next step
Feel
here.
that pressure.
But I don't know. Supposedly it's going to be rainy. The super long rough here at Valhalla it could eat people up. It's going to be much lower scoring than a lot of these other tournaments. So who knows? But I'll stick to those for now.
Yeah.
Maybe add more to my slip as it goes.
Can I just say that was a phenomenal little
You like that?
rant take?
yeah,
Yeah, that was very well done.
It's very,
Very
very,
well
very
done.
in depth.
You got me fired up.
I know.
Let's go, baby.
I'm so ready. Like I love obviously the Masters, but every major is just like I was today like deep diving like during the day like all right like I need to learn everything I need to know about Valhalla before I head
Yeah.
into this weekend.
And like I love now I feel like I love majors even more
Yeah.
because that's like we just talked about it. That's the only time right now where we get all the best players playing at the same time.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a great
on one
field.
side, like golf fans have been deprived of getting this, but
Mhm.
now the 4 times that we do get it, it just feels
It's
so
that
much
better.
bigger.
Yeah.
It
Like
does.
even think about it. The PGA
And there's a lot more of like a
it's-
question mark of what do we even expect, right? Because we
Yeah.
haven't really seen a lot of some of these guys play.
We don't know.
We don't know
exactly.
It's really hard to kind of get a feel for it.
And then you see the PGA is kind of like the 4th major, really. If you want to rank them,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be number 4 on most people's lists.
Right.
But I feel like this is just having all the best players playing and like having all the majors
Yeah, you
magnified
can't
like
take
this.
it for granted.
It just elevates the event to
Yeah.
another level. Like
100%.
I'm so fired up for it
100%.
that I'm ready to go. I think the big storylines this week.
There's a lot
are-
of storylines.
There
by
is.
the way.
I think
was gonna
the
say.
big storyline it's we have this week we're going in with a big 3.
Mhm.
You know, that's what everyone's going to be talking about. You're going to have Scotty, who is coming off, having a kid. He's coming
Right.
off. Last time we saw him, he won.
Yep.
Last like 4 times we've seen
Yeah,
him,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
Then you have Rory,
Mhm.
who we just talked about again.
Won
Loves
twice.
Kohala, won
Yeah.
twice. Last 2 times we've seen him, he's won.
Mm-hmm.
Won last week at a course that's very similar to this one.
Yeah.
It's a bomber's paradise. It's a ball strikers arena.
Mhm.
Like it's just built for that. The short game isn't like a huge saver here.
Right.
Ball striking is what's going to survive. Good driving, good approach play, that kind of stuff. So it's set up for him. We've seen this 100 times with Rory. And then the other guy is, I would say right now, is Brooks. He's the other guy. We've seen him.
Yeah.
He's been my
Coming
majors
off a
guy
win
for
as
years.
well.
I won a ton of money, but we've seen him. He seems to always peak right around this time. Like,
Yep.
maybe that's why he has so many PGAs and U.S. Opens, because this is usually his window of peaking.
When it starts clicking.
And we saw him win in Singapore. He looked good.
Yeah.
He won convincingly.
Mhm.
So if he's coming in hot and confident, he's another guy.
definitely
And he's
I would think
good at
he's gotta be a
defending.
contention.
And he is good in defending. Like, he's one of those guys that I
every
don't
single
care.
one. I think.
So I think those three, those are the big storylines. If you want to throw some other guys in there that I think could make a play, I like Max Homa a lot. I think he's one of those guys who playing good golf. I think now he's turning into one of those guys that is going to start gearing up to peak at these majors.
Yeah.
The other events, not that they mean less to them, but he's going to start using them more to prep and peak, kind of how these other guys do it. We're starting to see. I think he finally figured out that major championship formula that he's been trying to figure out. We saw what he did at the Masters, so I wouldn't be surprised if he made it. Made another run.
Yeah.
And another one, just because I think it's a fun storyline. He's had the horrible putter. We're seeing better signs of ball striking, but Justin Thomas, hometown, going back to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
I can't, but I'm probably not going to bet him. He's probably he'll be a long shot. I'll sprinkle something on him.
He's just one of those guys he has it in him. So at any given moment,
Yeah,
he
so I
could
don't
go
know.
to JT Form and be right there at the top.
Maybe being home, playing in Louisville again. He grew up there. Like,
pretty sick.
it's just one of those things that
and he's had a good year. Like he
playing
hasn't
better.
He
His
hasn't
putt
won
is
yet.
really bad.
It has
really
been, it
bad.
has been, but
he's ball striking really well.
He's playing so much better than he was last year. But he's just like the putters absolutely killed him because he hasn't been able to get over that hump this year because of that.
Yeah, he's had some Scotty moments with the putter.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say, considering you're talking about the best player in the world.
Yeah,
he's had some Scotty moments, but
Scotty completely
saw
turned
that,
around the
so-
putter, and which is why he's so dominant right now.
with all that being said, I still think this is Scotty's to lose. Like, I'm done betting against him.
it's hard.
Like,
It
I mean, it
It's
definitely
tough.
is Scotty's to
he's
lose.
the favorite, but I'm
tough.
actually
It's just-
hoping.
If the baby thing doesn't happen, I feel like everyone's even that much heavier on Scotty. I think everyone's willing to almost not take Scotty because it's almost like, how do you respond to something like that, like a major life event?
And I think you're gonna have a lot of people. The Rory train, the hype train is gonna be
Of course,
huge.
yeah.
Like, it's money, so we haven't even geared up, which is nice because we're coming into this very raw with our takes.
Yeah,
we haven't
yeah.
consumed any content,
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
Like, the Rory train,
Oh, it's
the
gonna be
Rory
high,
hype train that
of
is
course.
coming
Yeah.
is going
We've
to
been waiting
be
for this moment.
heavy.
Yeah.
All right. Like Quail Hollow win, Valhalla, back of
Exactly.
Valhalla. Last time he won a major, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just
The storyline's there.
everything is lining up for the media just to love this,
Mhm.
and they're gonna. So hopefully it doesn't get to his head.
Yeah.
Hopefully
but-
it does.
What I'm hoping is that this
Rory's
brings Scotty's odds.
Too much of a veteran to let a win get to his head.
No, I'm talking the hype. Every time Rory gets these
Yeah.
hype trains,
Dude,
he almost psychs himself
Why he hasn't
out.
won in 10 years?
I don't think it's that though. I think it's more the pressure that he puts on himself to win another major.
No,
Because what
And it
happens
builds
is-
up, dude,
but if you
it's-
think about
of course, it comes with the territory of being one of the greatest players ever.
He's had this thing where he goes every time he goes into these majors, he's got with these huge hype trains, he starts taking this attitude. He almost feels like he has to deflect and act like, oh no, like it's just another tournament. Like and that almost psychs him. Then he's gone the other way where he's gone too intense. Like you saw this year.
That's what I'm saying. He's so in his
didn't
head. He doesn't know
didn't
what
show
to
up
think.
to Augusta till
Yeah.
Tuesday, trying to be
Yeah,
all laissez-faire about it.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
like-
he'll ever win an Augusta, by the way.
He's all over the
I
place
think
when
he'll
it comes to
ever win
me. So that's why I don't know. The hype train is
Yeah.
going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not betting him.
Yeah.
Not
I've
that,
seen
yeah.
this 100 times. Not doing it. Give me Scotty again. I already have. I got Brooks at plus 2,000
Great pick.
during Singapore.
Yeah.
That'll
Very
be my
sharp-
only
That's
bet.
a very sharp move.
Yeah, I got.
It is.
Yeah, I got him then.
Yeah,
I saw it.
yeah.
I was like, the only
Yeah, he's
PGA
up to
bet I
plus
have
1,300
right now.
right now on the Hard Rock.
And
app.
he's at plus 1,300 now. So go
Yeah,
figure.
you got him at
So,
great value.
Um,
Aberg is at 1,600. Damn.
and that was the other one that I was gonna. throw out there too would be Aberg. I know there's some injury concern with him.
That's my biggest worry.
Yeah,
with him.
he
I like
withdrew
it.
last-
I think it's a perfect fit for Aberg. But
Right, that's
that
what I'm
injury
saying.
thing's weird.
He's been off for a little bit, taking
Yeah.
some rest. He's a young guy. I mean, come on, guys. He's a 20-year-old,
Yeah,
like
it's tough to win in these
super
moments.
athlete.
Yeah.
Like he's been hurt, but dude, that guy can recover from an injury in 2
Yeah.
weeks. When you're at that age,
Yeah.
your bounce back is like this.
I will say though, I
So,
saw
hopefully.
on Twitter today. I don't know how much truth this has. Supposedly, when he was playing in his practice round, he was like reaching for his knee a decent amount, but still playing pretty well.
Right.
The guy said, "Listen, like he's still
He's
playing
not
really
100.
well."
There's no way he could be 100%.
He's like, dude, this guy just threw a dart, but then immediately like went to his knee.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no way he could be 100%.
so
Hey.
it's just whether or not he can stand the whole 4 days.
you know who
It reminds like
else
a
did that
Decky
once?
thing.
Yeah.
Tiger. True.
And look what happened.
Listen, I love Aberg. Like I love Aberg. I would be pumped to be one. I'll probably honestly end up taking a little piece. I'm hoping that knee thing.
I'll sprinkle some
Yeah.
on Aberg, especially if this knee thing
Exactly.
brings his odds.
Boost
Because his
it up a
odds
bit.
weren't good
Yeah.
before.
No.
No, I mean, he's a plus 1600. So.
Yeah, I have plus
So-
2,000.
Oh, really? On Hard Rock, it's.
You know, I got plus 1,600. Ignore me.
I was like, I think you read that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, but you brought a name up that I'm surprised it took so long to be
So
brought up.
let's segue right into it.
Oh.
And I got a perfect way to segue into it.
And there's
Have
a
you
lot of
guys heard?
storylines because I want to bring up another storyline. But before we get into that, I think we just have to go into the Tiger talk because
62. Have you guys heard that rumor where
I
he
heard
shot
that.
a
They say
62
that
in
every
his practice
freaking
round?
time.
Oh, wait,
Hey.
he shot 62 today?
He said he
Yes.
shot 62 in his practice
on his
round
practice round. But
last week.
how many? I don't know if
All
it's
right,
just
guys,
me.
hold up.
I don't know if it's just me, but every time it was the same thing in the Masters.
Always.
Tiger looks great.
Dude, plus
He's
20,000.
shooting a 64 in his practice round, and then it doesn't translate into the tournament, right?
Well,
So there's that. And not to say that Tiger played
we know the
poorly in
reason why it doesn't
Masters.
translate. I just feel like I just don't think his body can hold on.
Right.
for 4 days.
Yes, that's what it always comes
Unfortunately.
down to. But I'm just done with the clickbait 62 scores on all these things before the tournaments.
Can you have some fun?
No,
It's great. Can you have some live a little, dude?
I
Live a little.
lived with it because it's always a story. You can only live so much with that type of stuff.
You know what? If he wins,
I'm rooting for him. I'm always
Yeah.
you're
rooting for
gonna.
Tiger.
If he wins, I hope we clip this whole
But
thing
I
back
want- I
and
want-
post it.
Yeah.
No, but I
Clip
want it to
this
be
out.
the opposite. I want to be Tiger's just, he's struggling or silence. And then let him go out there and show the people that he's
Yeah.
Tiger.
That's
That's what I
I'll
want.
never die. I'm with you. I don't.
But it's also impossible.
I don't buy into the hype anymore. But
Oh, yeah, it's
I
Tiger
love
Woods.
doing it.
Like,
Every
they're
time
all
you
gonna be
get
like,
covered.
"Oh shit, Tiger's playing this
Yeah,
weekend." Like, if
yeah.
Tiger's in it, like, you're getting 24-hour coverage from the second he steps onto the court
100%.
until he leaves.
The only reason I think he has a chance this week is because he's rocking the goatee.
I do
Uh,
like
yeah.
I do like to go to.
Hey,
I
we
wanna-
knew Scotty, bearded Scotty was dangerous.
Mhm.
When Scotty had the beard,
Yeah.
watch out.
Another great story in this week is Blocky.
Oh, that's right. I
God.
almost forgot about Blocky. I guarantee you. By the way, I was listening to something today. Like they were questioning, like, "Oh, like, do you think that they'll match him?" He's 100% going to be in a feature group, and he's going to be playing
Yeah.
with two guys. Who
He's
are
a
very
hell
good.
of a story.
I think he's going to get rocked this weekend.
I think he's gonna rock too.
And it's cool.
I
Like, he's
agree.
living like would be a dream. Like, oh, this guy just like
well, I
zen-
mean,
like, whatever
everyone
he
was
thinks.
thinking that last year too, but I mean, his name wasn't even relevant.
I know, but now he has to do all these interviews.
Yes,
and he's
exactly.
Gonna probably be a feature. I would
Yeah.
be shocked if he's not
and
a
just not
feature
playing
group.
anywhere
And
near.
they're gonna milk the Blocky thing. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe for the first day or two, but
No,
I
they
don't
already
think
had-
he'll be up maybe on a feature. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't even. To be honest with you, I don't even think they do.
Dude, watch they put him with like
Yeah.
it would be so funny.
No, I
Just
I
because
wouldn't
you-
say
you-
like
you
a
don't wanna-
major.
Dude,
no,
you
not
don't
like
wanna-
a
you
major.
don't want-
Rory,
you don't wanna
Scotty,
drag that out.
Michael Block.
No,
No,
way.
you don't want- you
The
don't wanna
field's
drag
too
that out.
deep
Yeah.
for that.
They'll
But
remember,
it'll be around some mid-tier names, I think.
but you got to remember, last year, they actually got heat for like the TV coverage focusing on Blocky's 18th hole thing.
Yeah.
They were showing that live when Brooks and this
And
other
Hobbs.
guy had like huge and Hovland.
Don't ever say the other guy.
Sorry. I was saying who won. I was trying
Say
to
his
remember
name.
who's he going against.
Yeah.
It was Hovland. We're on 17 with like massive putts
Yeah.
going on. They were like huge
Yeah.
putts going on at the time.
Let's get
Yeah.
back to Michael Block.
And I was just like, what are we like? Yes, but I want to show the putts live,
Yeah.
and then let's show the block record. It was a great story.
I also don't think
It
it's
was
that
fun.
hard for them to show both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you
I
really
just
think
think it was a
I-
mess up. So I don't know. I think they'll be a little more. Just my point is, I think they'll be a little more careful with
Dude,
the TV covers.
Actually,
so
it
they don't
would
get torched
it
again.
would be so sick if they actually paired opening round Rory, Scotty, and Brooks.
You know what would be a fire?
That
like,
would
I'm
be
just
an
looking.
insane start.
Who'd you say?
Bang.
Rory, Scotty, Brooks.
Like
Oof.
they just go big three
That
off
would
the
be
top,
crazy.
like the
That
big
would be
storyline.
wild.
Like 2 days back-to-back coverage of
They
them
will
two.
announce that
Would be
Wednesday.
Probably,
No,
yeah.
tomorrow. No,
No, sometimes they do tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
tomorrow.
No,
right?
tomorrow. It should
yeah,
come out
yeah,
tomorrow.
Tomorrow should already be out.
Fire.
We'll get pairings tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow afternoon, probably.
Yeah.
How about a little John Daly, Michael Block pairing?
Dude, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if something like that.
That would be sick.
Dude, can you imagine John Daly, Tiger Woods, Michael Block?
Cool. Talk about every level of the spectrum, bro.
That would be chaos.
Dude, oh my god. Dude, the group, oh my god, the people following that group would be hilarious.
That would be.
All right,
But
Jared, who you got?
who do you have a dark horse?
Ooh, dark horse. How dark are we going?
As dark as you want.
How long? Let me see. Thing is, I haven't looked at the odds that much, so I don't know
You want
who has
to
long.
take a little
You got the
scan
odds
through
here?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I haven't looked at the odds. I mean, one guy without even like going through the odds that two guys that I'll say is Willie Z. I think
Like that pick.
great course fit. The health's
He came
been a
off
thing
a-
with
it
him.
just
his
came off
putter.
injury.
If he can, it's his putter thing.
Coming off
It's actually
injury,
very
but
similar to JT.
Yeah.
In terms of
very,
yeah.
very good course fit.
But he
for
showed
him.
Yeah.
flashes of the putter this year.
Yeah.
You know, he's
To
just been
start, he's so
inconsistent.
bad
with it.
since.
Yeah.
Like-
Another guy I'll throw out there is, I mean, he's not a long shot. I mean, you mentioned him, Bryson. I think
Yeah, I like
he's
Bryson.
not a long shot
Yeah.
at all. And then
How about the other live guy, Cam Smith?
Cam Smith is, by the way, very. Listen, I don't know. It's not a great course fit for him, but Cam Smith at plus 5,500 for whatever
Well, he's
he is
at plus
now.
4,000 here. Yeah.
Crazy.
my only knock
No,
on
but he
Cam
might have
Smith
moved.
would be his Achilles heel has always been his driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work on this course,
Yeah,
like,
he's gonna
you're
struggle.
kind of toast.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially if you have guys like
Yeah.
one or two of Scotty, Brooks, and Rory are out there
Yeah.
playing well, just
Yeah.
driving the ball perfectly, and And then the last guy I'll say is Wyndham Clark.
That's one of my picks.
I think he's been outside of Scotty on the PGA Tour, the hottest golfer. He would
Mhm.
have 2 wins if it wasn't for Scotty.
Yeah, his name has kind of been buried a little bit on some of those.
He didn't play.
losses.
He didn't play well last week, but
That doesn't necessarily
it was
translate
it was
into
short
these-
game. If
yeah.
you look at it, he had taken some time off.
Mhm.
A little very strange for him because he has a good short
Right.
game. His strokes gained, putting wasn't very good, so it was like just a weird week for him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put too much into it. I think it was just may even get some better odds on him.
Maybe.
So that's
Yeah.
another guy.
Value.
I do have to do
I'm a
one
big value
thing
guy.
before you go, Joanna. We're holding up your picks here, but
It's okay, they're probably terrible.
you,
anyway.
you mentioned the second hottest, which I wouldn't disagree with. The second best player this year has been Xander Schauffele, and I couldn't
I know.
be further from touching him ever.
I
because
know.
He
Oh,
just can't.
he was a name
but
that
he's
I wanted
playing
to talk about.
I feel so, and
He's
I like
so good.
Xander.
He's so good.
He's
He's
by
a
far,
really good guy.
by far the second best player
He
this
is the
year
best
in terms of like
golfer
statistics
round 1
and like.
through round 3
Dude, he
outside of
just
Scotty.
can't finish.
He can't finish.
He is, bro. What
It's a
he's
mental
doing is
block. It's
he
gotta
has
be.
8 top 10s.
I don't know what else
I
can
think
be.
he's like 8 for 9 this year
Yeah,
in
yeah.
top 10s. He just can't win.
That's kind of been his
Yeah.
career, though.
I know. That's always been his
It's always
Achilles heel, and
been.
he's-
Yeah.
I mean, he
but
had
it's
the big
crazy.
breakthrough at the Olympics.
Right.
Yeah.
So people give
Yeah.
give him that, but
Yes,
like
100%.
we haven't seen him do it on the PGA
No.
Tour.
No.
I know.
But he's so
I-
good.
I
root
He's-
for him
want-
every
me
time.
too. I want to
I
win.
rooted for him.
I
and
like Xander. I don't
he
dislike
was the
him.
reason I didn't win my parlay this weekend.
Got
And I
cut.
was gonna pick Rory actually.
And he had a bit. Wow, and he had like a massive lead too. He just choked it. Like,
I know.
Crazy.
It's just, and if you look, it's not that he really like plays bad on these like Sunday rounds.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
he just like even par.
Right, exactly.
You know,
It's just
like,
average
or
as
like,
hell.
or like 200. Like
yeah.
It's
you
an
can't shoot
average
not,
ass
you
round.
can't
You
shoot
can't go
200
over
when you
and
have
shoot a
Rory
65 or
shooting,
something.
600
Rory's got
behind
like
you.
3 eagles on your freaking
Yeah.
this round, and you're just like,
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. It's
You
not
know,
like he goes
And he
blows
started
up.
like he started off good. You see it, just like he just doesn't.
He's not hitting those same
yeah,
shots.
that back nine.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like he misses. He's missing something when he gets
Yeah.
that back nine that he has.
yeah, he just
All the other, it's not that
Crazy.
like he doesn't have it. He has it.
No, he
but-
has
and
it.
then all
It's
of a
there. The
sudden,
talent is
it
there.
goes away the
Something
back nine.
happens
got
to
to
him
be
at
getting
round
to his
4.
head at this point.
Exactly.
Too. It's just like holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
it depends
I'm
obviously
leading
who.
again on a
Imagine
Sunday.
And a lot of the times that he's been in contention there to win it, he was going against Scotty in the final round, who's the hottest golfer, and then he's going against Rory, who's Rory, and playing well right now. You know, so
It's always been
even
the second
players,
place
he blew it to
against
Scotty, but like,
yeah.
dude, he had every chance though to
Yeah,
win the
I
players.
agree.
Like, and he
I
also
agree.
had every. I mean, going into the final round, he was only up 1 or 2 on Rory, but dude, he was up like 5 going into the weekend.
I know.
Like,
I know.
crazy.
It's crazy.
But Dre, go your picks. I already know. We all know one of them.
We all know one of them. I do like Fleetwood this week, actually.
I know I just can't win, bro.
I know another one that can't win, but again, I think these guys can get in contention if they could just kind of put it together at the end. That's why I always like these guys because they play good enough.
Fleetwood's
golf.
a guy that I'll say, not to just say that I think I like what you're saying about it because I think he's one of those guys that he hasn't won yet, but he's one of those few guys that he can get his first win at a major.
Exactly.
He has the game. We've seen him do it.
Well
He's contended in me. He's had runner-up finish. He had that U.S. Open in like 2018, I think,
or something
against Brooks, where they were battling in the final group,
Yeah.
one of Brooks's U.S. Opens back a few years ago. So
he knows how to be in that moment. It's to me for those type of guys. It's just can they put it together on Sunday?
Drives the ball well, hits the irons well. It's a good course fit for Valhalla.
I could see him playing well there.
Why not?
And then he's I guess you can kind of call him a dark horse. I liked Wyndham Clark, but Haddon. I don't know why. I think he could pull off a run this weekend. He's long off the tee as well. I think he can kind of manage his emotions relatively well, and I think he's got a chance to be in contention on Sunday as well. Again, these guys are tough to pick because when it comes to Sunday, can they hang with the big dogs?
Yeah.
You know, I think Haddon has everything in his game, especially at this point right now in the season where he's playing well enough. Again, can he put it together? I do think he's capable of it, so I like him this week too, and I think he's a good fit for this course as well. And then, of course, just out of just straight bias, I got to keep riding with my boy Thigala.
I knew it. It's going to be Siggy. It's going to be Thigala.
I mean, I just want him to do it so bad.
He's playing so well.
He's playing great this
year. He
year.
did blow up on Sunday
I know.
or Saturday. He went 11 over.
He tends to be doing that a little bit more lately.
Great year, though.
But in terms of you just look at the picture of this year, he's just playing great golf. And again, he is one of those guys that has every shot in his bag. He can pull off anything.
True.
But again, can he avoid those little kind of like meltdowns in these holes? And it's not like it doesn't seem to be a mental meltdown. It's just like, I don't know if he's just trying to do too much.
Yeah, just have a short. Maybe it's not a huge mental. Yeah, it's not a meltdown, but it's a short mental lapse.
Right, and it's just him. It's not
bad
translating.
Holes.
But when he's consistent off the fairway, man, he's great with his second shot, third shots. Getting onto the greens in regulation. And he can roll the putter, bro.
Yeah,
he can roll the putter.
Thing with him is he makes birdies in bunches. He makes a lot of birdies.
Exactly.
So, I do have a theory that I've been going up that I'm testing out with the new landscape of golf. I think these majors are all going to be. I think all 4 majors this year. I think for sure this one, and we saw in the first one, are going to be front runner type majors where the guys, the big names, are at the top.
Okay.
And you're going to get big name winners.
Okay.
I mean, we saw it at the Masters.
Yeah.
We had big names all over the leaderboard. I think this week we have the big 3. And I think the other guy, I think we're going to have a star-studded leaderboard. I think my reason for that theory is back to what we were saying before, the 4 tournaments where all the best players are going.
Yeah.
I think these guys, these guys are savage competitors.
Right.
You're getting like these guys like Rahm and Brooks and
have
Rory and stuff. Like they want to, they want to go out there and okay, we're going against the big guys. Like I want to go out there and beat these guys. I want to go. They want to put on a show. They want to show off for the world and show that they're we're the best. I'm playing against the best in the best stage.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's magnified now. I think these stars are coming way more prepared for the majors, and you're just going to get, you're not always going to get all of them.
Yeah.
But you're going to get, I think, 5 or 6 every single major, and I think a big name is going to win every single major this year.
Golf definitely needs that.
I think we're getting superstar winners for all 4 majors.
I see. I've got another thing that another person that two other guys that I like. One of them being Huaco. I like Neiman this week. I think he's kind of
guy we haven't talked about. Can't believe
under the radar.
He was actually the next name I was going to bring up.
He's been killing it. Obviously on Live this year.
Yep.
He made the cut at the Masters. Wasn't a great showing. I mean, the Masters killed a lot of people. But he made the cut. He was fine. I think he's kind of floating right under the radar, and I think he can have a big week whether he wins. I think he'll be good. I think he'll be in the top 10 at least, but he can be somebody I think could win. And honestly,
I like
like
that name, too.
you just mentioned him actually, and it's the first time. Everyone's talking about this big three. No one's talking about Rom. Rom is still Rom.
Bro, you were reading my mind.
Rom.
Those are literally the
And
two
I'm
names
hoping
that
that no one
I
keeps
had in
talking
my
about
head.
him. So like, I'm hoping Rom's odds get to a point. It's like, how am I not going to take Rom? Like,
Yeah.
Rom can get to. I don't know what's Rom. What's Rom
He's
right
at
now?
1,400, I think.
That's great value. If you
Yeah.
can get to like even like 1,600, like, oh my
So
God,
I
Rom.
I didn't bet Rom this week. I didn't talk about him this week because I got a big Rom play for the U.S. Open.
Oh, nice.
I think Rom. I think this is like Pinehurst is set up for Rom. I think he's
Nice.
gonna win the U.S.
I like
Open.
that.
I really do. Like that's my. I already have a
Good.
bet. I have a
That's
futures
that's
bet on
already a good pick,
on
yeah.
Rom. I just think that's the one. Like, I think we're gearing
Yeah.
up for a U.S. Open.
How about a guy
Rom
like
special? He has it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he could. I wouldn't be
Why
shocked
not?
if he won.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys
Just
that
not
he's
playing
kind
the
of
right
like.
golf right now.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like he's taking the Rory role. He's on the players
Yes.
board. He's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
face. He's got a lot of stuff
Mhm.
going on.
And
He
this
just
thing
got
just
married.
came out about him. So
Yeah.
like, he's,
This stuff came out about him.
Mhm.
So you have all like, there's a lot of other things going on for
Gotcha.
him. And we haven't seen him play very good golf since like earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Where he was
Maybe
playing
one or two
good,
tournaments that
But
he was
he's
up
also
there.
one of those guys that like he
any
rolls
given
out of bed
moment.
one week and just
Okay.
like, hey, I got it this week. Let's
That's the
go.
beauty of this field.
Like-
You really don't know who of one of those guys
Yeah.
could just turn the switch
100%.
on because the talent is definitely there.
100%.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still think it's Scotty just because I don't think he has a switch to turn off right now.
Yeah.
I think it's
Besides
just
the baby.
I think it's just
The baby
on.
can just go like this.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me. Speaking from experience, it really can. It does.
I
But
mean, we need you to go down a 30-minute breakdown of the first night of your son, so we can feel what Scotty's going through to see if he has what it
to
takes.
see if he can.
I like blacked out during that. Like you don't even remember like the
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
So that's why
I doubt.
you're just,
I doubt Meredith and the baby will be there.
no,
there's no way.
100% they won't be.
What is
They're
he
not
being
gonna be.
old at this point?
You're
No,
going to
no.
be missing him.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he won't.
Or
I guarantee Scotty isn't winning. I could have told myself.
or is he playing for him?
That's what I'm saying,
That's
man.
the whole thing. Like everybody, one of the best bets in the NFL is betting on the guy to score a touchdown, the receiver who just had a baby.
Yes.
It's actually one of the best bets. It's like legitimately
That's
like a
funny.
real thing.
Yeah.
Or like about to have.
I've heard.
a kid,
I've
like,
heard
yeah.
it before. I've heard that before.
One more name that I want to throw out there that I think he's starting to find his groove a little bit too is Morikawa. I know this
Mori's
course doesn't necessarily like fit him, but if he could just find
Listen.
fairways, I think he can.
He's been playing really since the
Yeah.
Masters. I mean, he's been playing really
playing
well. I don't know. I just don't trust Maury yet. But again, he's
another one of those names that
He's
falls
also
in
been
that
shutting me up.
category.
He's been in the top 10 like twice or three times last month, and he's won a PGA championship before. So like, Maury's could absolutely do this. Like Maury's good enough that if he's back in like that group, because like people forget like that stretch that Maury went where he won PGA and the Open. Pretty crazy. Like he won it so young too. And like
The
others
other,
not fell off because he's always still around there,
Yeah.
but like. You know, he hasn't really fully competed until the Masters. The Masters was big for him.
he looked good, which was
Yeah.
good to see him in that situation
yeah.
because I feel like lately his career's kind of been a
Yeah.
roller coaster. And I'm a little biased here too. The story that I also like that he been up and down. Obviously, won this year already. Nap, can he contend in a major?
I will say, look, Nap
He played great.
Nap cost me a pretty.
I know,
ticket.
I know, I know,
I know.
And that what tournament was that?
It was
that
the
was
one before this last one.
that was in Texas, no?
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was the name of that tournament.
Not Valero. Was it Valero? No.
Which one?
I don't
The
know.
one like
that
2 weeks ago.
That he was
Oh.
the leader. He went 7 under, 7
Yeah.
under,
And he kind of
4
pulled a
under.
Shoffley and just kind of
Right,
had
he
an
didn't do
average
anything.
round.
He didn't do anything. He
in the
shot
last round.
even on the or -1 on the last day.
Yeah.
It was like
I'm not saying for him to win. I'm just curious to see if maybe he can contend
He's
because
so-
he is playing good golf.
he actually started really hot at Quail Hollow, and then he really collapsed. Big
Yeah.
time. I
Yeah.
think he had so many.
I don't
doubles, but
think.
playing
I
a
think
ton of
he's
golf right
still.
now.
he's
Is it real-
I don't think he's there for majors yet.
No.
yeah.
I think he's still kind of figuring it out. I mean,
Yeah.
remember majors are a different animal.
Mhm.
Like we've seen it. Like look at like Max Homa. I think is a great example.
Yeah.
Just because
good golf doesn't necessarily
we've
translate to
we've
good
followed him
majors
just because
golf.
he's been so public about it with all his
Mhm.
podcasts and
Right.
stuff. If you've been following Max's journey
Mhm.
for the last like 3 years,
Yeah.
you've heard him talk extensively about how he's like majors are a different beast. Like you gotta find you gotta find a different formula that works for you
Yeah.
those weeks, and like everything's just so much bigger and
Yeah.
intense and amplified that
Yeah.
not maybe, yeah, sure. Any of these, I think anyone on the PGA
Of
Tour
course,
can go out and
always
win.
has a chance. Yeah, that's the
But
beauty of
you
it.
know, if it's Jake Knapp and Scotty in the final group, like I just don't.
I think he's got that.
No,
in him.
Scotty,
Yeah.
Scotty, he would be.
He
would eat
Scott
him.
would be on the first
Good
team.
luck.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what other names out there that are story worthy. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's always a story, but
Yeah.
I think those were the big storylines in this year's tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think it's a
Yeah.
a year for the. I think this is good. It's going to be a great PGA. I think it's going to be all about the big names this week.
yeah.
I agree. I
Another
think
great
it's
major.
It's going to be
I
a
would
great
be
week.
shocked if it's anybody
Let's
that's
lock
not
and
a
load.
win. Yeah.
Tiger top 25 finish.
I'll be betting it. I'll be betting over on birdies for him every day. It's
Yeah.
super fun to do.
Yeah.
That's my funnest bet to do, by the way.
Yeah.
Betting over on birdies for
I like
guys
that.
or for the group.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if you have if there's like a
Dude,
awesome group.
Well,
Yeah.
imagine that group.
That you
If
see-
they ever put Scotty
Yeah, like a
Roy
group
Brooks
like
and
that or
it'd be like
whoever.
over 19 birds.
Super fun bet because they don't always offer them for like every tournament for majors. They usually
Yeah.
offer them
Nice.
where if you can find them, you know, like these featured
I like
groups
that.
and you get the over on the group birdie. It's just
Yeah.
a fun. It's fun to watch because you're
Yeah.
watching. You don't really care who. Like you just want to see birdies.
Yeah.
You're just rooting for birdies the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you make a bogey, make a birdie in the next hole.
Yeah, that's true. No, the betting
Yeah.
is the best. It makes you invested into shit that you would have never been
Yeah.
invested in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for today's episode. I know you guys got anything else you want to leave out there?
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Cats in 5.
By the time this drops,
Yeah.
hopefully we've clinched.
Yes.
So
Hopefully.
yeah, let's see what happens. I'm excited for this week.
It's gonna be a good week.
Good sports week.
We've been in a really nice
We're in a good groove right now. I like
really
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
This is like a money spot of the year
Yeah.
for sports.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got major championship season.
playoff hockey.
You got playoff
basketball.
hockey. You got playoff basketball. You got like even if you're like a soccer guy, Premier
Yeah,
League's
yeah.
going on.
And the
like,
Euros are gonna be happening this summer.
Euros are gonna be happening.
I will tell you this: my football bug is like this right now. I'm itching.
Well,
for
hey,
it
the
right
schedule
now.
comes out Wednesday.
The XFL's active.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the
I
schedule
want to
drops
get
Wednesday,
behind it.
so-
It's just I don't know. I can't get to it. But good stories there too. But I
I
It's
got
not the
usually after the U.S. Open is when my
It's-
football bug
it
really starts to
I don't
kick
know why.
in.
Mine's
like-
starting a little earlier.
Mine hasn't stopped.
Exactly. Dead
I'm
ass.
literally gonna be there on my TV at 8 p.m. on Wednesday watching
No,
the fucking the schedule release.
Yeah,
just there.
exactly. You know, football just dominates when it's March and June, when there's really nothing really going on, and yet your group chats are going off about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Of course.
We're just addicted. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
It
It
is
is.
what it is.
Exactly.
It'll never end. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Go Fins, go Cats.
Thanks for
go
having me again.
Figala.
Yeah.
And we'll
Shout
see you
out
on the next major.
I love this. I love it. I love
staple.
coming on.
Oh,
and just
yeah.
coming up
I
with
mean,
majors
if you're
and-
made it this far,
Yeah.
you're betting.
First
chance.
Oh
step,
yes,
first step pod.
first step bets.
Yeah.
It's a podcast. We just sit here, basically do this talk.
Yeah.
Betting all sports,
Oh yeah.
all sports, all topics. Like, subscribe. We're on every channel, YouTube. Episodes come out
Facts.
every Thursday.
Fuck yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks. See you later.
Peace.